Good afternoon. There's been comment on Facebook lately about starting the small two-stroke engines like found in a variety of home and garden appliances. This generator here, it actually came from Australia, but it's released in New Zealand too in 2006. Now I have not started this for at least 2 years. It uses what in the old days was called petrol, as in a mixture of petrol and oil, two-stroke oil for the lubrication. And they sometimes foul up. They do foul up more than four-stroke, but they're much cheaper. These are actually the Chinese clone. These were for sale at the time in Bunnings, Australia for $99, whereas the Yamaha, the original Yamaha brand one, was also available at $795 at other merchants. So this hasn't been going for at least 2 years. I know because I've been at my current job for just over a year and I didn't start this up for at least a year. So before I started, I'll mention a couple of things. When it came with a very small toolkit, something to spark plug take out thing or whatever. And it's also come with a lead with a couple of crocodile clips, and that plugs into a socket because the original Yamaha one was only 230 volt mains, whereas this also has a 12 volt charging circuit. The open circuit voltage I think is about 14 volts, it puts out about 8 amps. So in everyday speak, what that means is if your car had a battery not quite charged enough to start it, put this on for 5 minutes and 10 minutes at the most, and it would have charged the battery enough that you could then start the car. Now, as I say, it hasn't been started for at least 2 years. It's got some petrol in it. I can hear it sloshing around. Have to work out this now, hasn't been for so long. The trick is though, when you stop it, turn off the petrol and let the petrol run out. And that, otherwise what happens is the petrol part evaporates from the carburetor, leaving the oil behind, and after a number of times of that happening, the carburetor gets very oily inside. So let's see how many pulls it takes to start. Now normally I'd give it sort of like 3 pulls to prime it, and then we'll see. So turn on the petrol, and the ignition's on, and I'll just leave the control lever off for the moment and give it 3 pulls. Now we'll see how many pulls it takes to start and keep it running. If I plug the load into it at the moment, I could actually throttle it back quicker because the governor would give it extra fuel to maintain the speed of the motor with the electrical load on it. I need to bring a lamp out here with me, but I forgot to. A big capacity lamp. There we go, so that's in a normal running position now. Don't die on me again. We'll start her up again. Now what I will actually do is turn the petrol off, and we'll see how long it takes before it stops running. Without a load on it, just the carburetor full of petrol normally runs it for about 2 minutes or something. There is an ignition off switch for these, but generally speaking you're sort of better off not to use them unless you just want to stop it for a minute and you can start it back up again. As I say, you do end up with that oiling of the carburetor problem. It did stop sooner than I expected. I'll have a look at that later. While I'm here, I'll explain this device. this is the typical Australian New Zealand Pacific 3-pin plug with earth. As you see, there's a problem with this one. Well, it's a difference with this one. You've got a male plug on each end. So normally this would be very dangerous. If you plug that in a wall outlet, the other one's live. They don't sell these, you have to make these yourself out of an old extension lead or something. The advantage of these is, let's say there's a power outage due to a storm, you do need to operate these generators outside. People have died because they operate them in a closed space, in a garage that's part of a house, for example. You must operate them outside where there's plenty of ventilation, or you get the carbon monoxide poisoning. And the way these things work is you plug. First of all, you need to go inside your house and turn off the main switch. I'm assuming that your house is all connected to a single phase, which in Australia is, in New Zealand is usually the case for domestic installation. In Australia, it's not always the case, especially if in West Australia, they have a lot of 3-phase hot water, instantaneous. Anyway, if you have a single-phase house, just go in, turn off the main switch. Turn off your hot water, turn off your oven, turn off your fridge, turn off all your other high-use appliances, things that take a lot of power, things that can turn on automatically. It could be a swimming pool pump or something like that. And plug an extension lead into any wall socket you want. And we've already turned off the main switch. Run the lead out to a window or door, whatever's convenient to your generator. So you've now got a lead with a hole in it. You plug this in the lead, you plug this into this end, and what that then does is it powers your whole house. So you can go from room to room turning lights on and off. You can plug a mobile phone charger in one room, you can plug a laptop charger in the other room, that kind of thing, during your power outage. Otherwise you end up with just a generator like this and you're running a cord to just run one charger or whatever it might be. So these can be useful in a situation to give you temporary power during a storm or something by connecting the generator into the house circuit. But use only under qualified adult supervision because it could be dangerous used otherwise. Just going to start this up again just to make sure it's still going. And, I have turned it round. There we go. Yes, when it's cold it certainly runs much better with a load, because there's some kind of governor and it causes the engine to speed up, or it gets more fuel to speed up. So when it is cold it does tend to stall if you don't have any load on it. It's supposed to run at about 750 or 850 watts of power. That's how the throttle's supposed to kick in. I've actually plugged it into something taking about 12 or 1300 watts temporarily, and it definitely slowed down. It wasn't feeling too happy, but it was doing the job. I've also used it to start. It can start a small fridge once it's fully warmed up. No other appliances running. It would start a small fridge, because obviously fridge is an electric motor. It's a compressor under load. So they take about 6 to 7 times rated current for the first couple of seconds to get up to speed. So for a few seconds deliver enough power to get a fridge started, and then the fridge normal running is well within its capability. I think a small fridge runs about 250 watts. So now it's had a bit of a run. I'm just going to turn the petrol off. It's still cold, it's still throttling up a bit. If I had something about a 500 watt load handy, I'd plug it in now, but there you go, one of those small generators. Took a few more pulls on the starter, took me about 7 pulls, not counting the first 3 to get it going, but hadn't been started for 2 years. I've never had the plug out of this. And as I say, got it in 2006. It got used from time to time in Western Australia, and it's got used from time to time here in New Zealand. Mostly it was used for several days in a row after the big earthquake in 2011. But it was used a little bit after the smaller earthquake in 2010. So that's all. We'll call it a day on it. So this is Catherine, over and out.